Too.
Amy.
Yeah.
Button? No button.
No button? No button.
I can't stand the Italian thing, man. It's just like, dude, where'd you park the deli and the pickle?
Dude, she needs one of those horns, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Need a
Italian
gold.
horn?
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We're about to go hot on Wimkin as soon as it pops. There it is. And Liv, give me a 3, 2, 1, and we should be live.
Looking, hang on.
Livy,
I'm thinking.
you were on Rumble, huh?
Nope. It's good.
Okay, but are we on Rumble?
Let me look. Yep.
All right, outstanding. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Can you turn up my headphones just a tad?
Every
I feel
night, same thing.
muzzled.
How does it go?
Better. Thank you.
Test 1, 2. Can you hear me okay, honey?
Yes.
All right. It could be that the music is a little hot tonight. Little hot. Hot.
Icy.
We're going to take 5 minutes on a couple things before we get started. Olivia is going to bring the thunder. So I just follow along. I don't know what else to say. I'm just going to sit here and listen. We've got a lot to cover tonight. There's a whole bunch of crap. I wish I could tell you that it's going to be a boring show, but it's not going to be. So stick around. We'll be back in 3 minutes right after meow. Leroy, Amy, you got it. Step into a Wimkin, Amy. Come on now.
Gotta do it now.
Wait.
Step into a Wimkin.
What's going on, everybody?
That's
Matthew
good.
Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Good.
I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future.
Yep,
Get
that's
them
it.
for your
Thanks,
family
pal.
and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books. Thanks so much.
Wow. Quick video.
Hey, Hard
was-
Squares here. Check out our friend
really
Matthew
fast.
Spirit at his podcast at The DUM Show and his website. Yeah, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Every time.
Oh my God.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your
got a bunch
hosts,
of Olivia.
Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? I hope you're having a happy Indigenous People Columbus Day. God knows we are. We celebrate it like we do every year. We went over to my neighbor's house. I raped his wife and killed his kids and gave them a disease, typhoid to be exact, and some blankets. And it was fantastic. I canoed back on over to my house, and here we are to celebrate this wonderful.
Did you scalp anyone, though?
No, I didn't scalp. No, they were too sick to scalp people at that point. They were just dying, dropping like flies. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to be accurate, right? I wanted to thank you, Facebook, for throttling us. We just basically lost the entire feed. I guarantee it. Folks, it's called humor. it is available, and you can look at cable to see if they have it. I'm not a big fan. I don't care about this day, truly. Like Columbus Day, I'm like, whatever. I'm not Italian. I don't care. You know, he didn't. When people are like, oh, he discovered America. No, he didn't. But he did bring European and Western civilization to North America. Well, kinda. The point is that when it comes to the conquerors, if it wasn't for Columbus, we might be speaking Norwegian or Chinese or something else. And we effectively, by having Columbus here, decided to go ahead and conquer an entire people and displace them into inhospitable locations so we could have this United States of America. So we should all celebrate.
We gave them casinos. We gave them casinos.
And some firewater. And I don't know why people constantly complain. I mean, seriously? I mean, I would love a casino. Sounds like it's going to be amazing. Folks, I care about the Native American people, but it's their day for me to make fun of them. We only give them one day a year, and so we should completely respect it and use it for what it's worth, which is to mock them.
That's horrible.
Right. Listen. Who did you guys celebrate Columbus Day in the family?
I never did.
No, Leroy.
Nope. I actually worked today, even though it's a federal holiday. I was still working.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it works, right?
Yeah.
So, listen,
we gave a history lesson today on how Columbus did not discover America. I was like, it was Amerigo Vespucci. I don't know how to say his name. However, I was like, Amerigo. We had a whole history lesson on how Columbus did not discover America.
But you know what? We're not going to sit here and pretend that this is, Native Americans. I don't care. I'm not going to do it. I'm done placating. You were conquered. Every single territory in the entire world has been conquered and changed hands. And let's stop pretending, like I said many times, that they were all smoking peace pipe and chasing the white buffalo. No, they were raping and pillaging and killing and absorbing tribes, and they sliked for the land just like everyone did, and they had a lust for it, and they killed for it. So let's stop pretending that it was all, dances with frickin' wolves, okay? All right, good. Everybody. Yeah. But go ahead, Leroy.
I just noticed that your mic covers are in fact red and blue, and I was wondering if there's any significance to that given the nature of the show.
Yeah, man, I'm a Crip, Holmes. You're Crip. She's a blood.
You're the liberal and she's
especially too far. Was that too far? No. Okay. Well, people will replay that and hear it. No. Nobody else did. That's the Reddit. Well, I don't know, Leroy. What would the red and blue?
I'm just wondering. I mean, like, are you going to switch sides occasionally, or how's this going to work?
No, man. This is the colors of the show. It's like the red and blue, Democrat, Republican, whatever. And obviously, this doesn't mean I'm a Republican or a Democrat. It just it's blue, and she's got red, and she looks good with a pinkish glow, and I look good with a blue glow. I don't know. It's just God.
She looks good regardless.
Yeah,
so do you.
I agree.
I didn't know.
So let's get to it. We got a lot to do tonight. Nice to see so many people. Oh my God, great start. Okay, folks, this show, I'm just going to preface something. This show is different than most, is that we have a relationship with our viewers. It's very important to us. And we care about our viewers. So occasionally there's housekeeping to do because something is said that interrupts the harmonious flow of positive energy in this show. And I've learned that if I don't address it, it goes toxic quick. And in fact, Amy will tell you, Leroy will tell you, in our first year, we had a couple of people who just said, screw this, I'm leaving. You won't agree that the election was stolen. You won't give it airtime. And I'm taking all my friends that I brought, and we lost like 40 viewers, which brought us down to like 60. And we were like, oh my God, we're never going to let that happen again. So it's not that I'm always right. It's just when I'm wrong, I will admit it, and I do it behind the scenes. And then I come on and I'll usually say, hey, this took place and this is where I'm right and wrong. We've seen this with Jefferson. We saw this with Kyrie and others. This is a little bit different, but it's important to talk about. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Olivia do her thing, and then we've got a big show to go. And we are going to make up, I skipped the intro tonight, and I'm going to make up the time no matter what. If Amy and Leroy can't be here, I will continue the show. But we'll get to every topic, but this is important. So, Olivia, good luck, everybody.
Okay, so everyone, just say you're going to try a new restaurant. Okay, you go to a restaurant you've never been to. The food's okay. And you're like, you know what? It's worth giving it another shot, but you're not sure. So Amy looks...
Amy doesn't look sad. Amy looks beautiful.
I'm not wearing makeup today. Sorry.
Oh, that's what it... Yeah, I was going to say that. Jeez.
Your mind.
You can come on.
Never serious.
You
on
can
this
come
show.
on tomorrow when you can put some makeup on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Libby.
All right, so you go to a restaurant. It's okay, but you're like, you know what? Let's try again next weekend. You try the restaurant again, and you're like, no, I don't really like the food. It's not something I like. I'm going to assume you're never going to go to that restaurant again. That is how our show is. Try us out. You don't like us, give us another shot. You don't like us again, you're probably not going to like us because we're not going to change for you. This is our show. We run it how we see fit and how we think it makes the most impact. So little snipes from, why aren't you wearing a hat anymore? Why are you cleaning up? Why are you changing the way you dress? Doesn't work. And to be honest, we don't care. Snipe away, but your little snipes are not going to make a difference. It's the meaningful people who say, hey, you know, I wasn't sure about this, blah, 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 blah. And they actually reach out and give us some feedback. That's when we listen. We don't listen to the little snipes. So if you've, as I was taught, and as I teach my children, and I teach the children that I nanny, you can't say anything nice. Don't say anything at all. That is your manner lesson for the day. The other thing is Matthew and I have emails. Matt at the DUM Show and Olivia at the DUM Show. Matt's email is to be used for ordering purposes. So if you have a question about your order, you ordered the wrong. Oh my gosh, Tommy. that question's going to be asked at least 6 times tonight now.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Tom.
I snorted. That's funny. Yeah. Go ahead.
So if you have a question about your order, you ordered the wrong size shirt, you're not quite sure how to pay, you email Matt. If you have an issue with the show or somebody on the show, you email me. If you send an issue to Matt, he's going to forward it to me. There is no more Matt dealing with issues.
Oh, but why? Why can't Matt deal with that?
Oh my gosh.
I'll explain it.
Also, leave our mods and other viewers out of it. We don't want to hear the issues you're having with other viewers because it's not our problem. Go to them and you guys work it out like adults, like you are, and don't bring us into it. We don't want to deal with it. But leave our mods out of it. Okay. Our mods have nothing to do with you and what you are thinking about in your opinion on this show. They do a fantastic job. Leave them alone.
Thank you. Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody said they want to know why my mic is blue because it's that time of the month.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and my balls are swollen. But okay. Here's the thing. Okay, this is a perfect segue. I just made a comment, and that was sexual. Folks, I know for a fact every one of you people, and we have a lot of older people on our show, every one of you have had sex, and we know you're freaky deaky in the bedroom when you were at your prime. Stop fucking pretending that you're a virgin, okay? I love my wife. I'm 50 years old, and we are going to have sex until I can't. I'm going to die having sex with my wife. That's going to be great for her. I don't care. We don't sit here and get graphic, but we make little jokes because we're quick-witted. It's part of the humor, just like when we make fun of Jews or make fun of white people or make fun of Mexicans or black people or Amy. We do this because, especially Amy, because we love them and we love people and there's no humor anymore and everything's so serious. We are trying to break that mold. So when we make a little sexual innuendo or make a little whatever, you're going to have to come to grips with it. You're just going to have to deal with it. My wife and I love each other with no equivocation. We fight passionately. We love passionately. And until we start showing videos and pictures, you really have nothing to complain about, okay? All right, good. Second thing, I am too fucking busy to be your father. I am not your daddy. I don't care. If you have a medical condition, I want to know. If you are hurting and you need someone to talk to, I want to know. If you need someone to vent on about some things you can't get from other places, if you're hungry, if you're going to lose your home, I want to know all these things, and I want to help however I can. I don't give a flying shit if you and a viewer get upset at each other. Okay? Fix it. Fix it or fuck the right off. Okay? This is don't unfriend me. This isn't I'm a sensitive Nancy and I can't function without Matt telling me how to function. I'm not your dad. I'm not your brother. I'm not your sister. I'm none of those things. I'm just a host who has a life, and I am sick of the weekend emails where you need me to be your counselor. I'm not your counselor. I was a bartender. I've done that. I have no desire to do it again, unless it's those other things that we talked about. Now, I have to address something because this is going to a level, once again, where it's going to go thermonuclear. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to bring receipts and I'm not going to embarrass this person. I've got all the receipts. I got every conversation, every email, and months of things that people have sent me that this person has said. And I am not going to break it out unless I have to. And if you don't know how that feels, Jefferson is a perfect guy to talk to, the Sensi guy, because that guy got shellacked, and I will do it again. So I'm just going to put this simply. Somebody ordered coffee on the 28th of September. The 28th. Does anyone want to tell me what happened between the 28th and like the 12th of October?
A lot. There was a holiday. There was
2 hurricanes.
Government-controlled hurricane? Right.
Yes.
2 of them. And the person
Port
who
shutdown.
is right next to Leroy, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, these areas got hit with a shit ton of rain, a shit ton of water, but most importantly, the distribution and FedEx could not deliver to certain areas because they were backed up. So it took 2 weeks. Now, I told everybody when I hold up this coffee, and I do it where you can get it on the DUMShow.com. You have FJB and you have all sorts of other fantastic coffee that you can buy right now. And when I do that, I always go, hey, my guy is available. He's going to cut it in 2 to 3 days. It'll be in your box within 5 to 7. Or I say he's going on vacation 2 times a year. I say, I did that last time. Thank you for the donation, Christine. Now, I laid all that out and I get a snotty email. Good Lord. Okay, so when you invoke the Lord's name in vain, I'm not, anything else after that is not going to be, in my opinion, trying to be funny. If you say good Lord, or GD, or Mother Humper, or whatever, I'm going to take it seriously. Then it was, wow, where did somebody go to get the coffee? Was it Colombia with Juan Valdez? Immediately after I already stated those things, and you could have looked at the shipping notification, and in giant red letters, in a big red box, it says, because of Helene and Milton, we are 5 to 7 days behind in delivery. It's right there. Instead of sending me an email, and if you already got the coffee and it didn't matter, then it was a critique on the delivery and a critique on my business, and I don't appreciate it. So my reply is, I'm sorry, is what I started off with a period. Obviously, because of the hurricanes, it was a very slow time for delivery. I did mention he was on vacation. I'm very sorry that we keep seeming to disappoint you like we always do, because this person has complained before. The last time was because we didn't take care of Amy with donations and we didn't give her money, and he was going to stop donating to us because we didn't care about her. Okay. So we've already been through this shit. Okay. The point about all of this is stop screwing with my business. Stop trying to make me feel bad because Amy doesn't even care and she knew. And this is so stupid. This is juvenile. But for you to sit here and start saying, you take my name out of your mouth and one day you're going to find out. Okay.
Whoa.
Bring your lunch. All right. Everything was fine until you started threatening. So let's keep this in a level-headed sense. If you have a problem with my shipping, with my delivery, just let me know. And I will take care of you, and I will absolutely refund your money, or I will find a way to make it right. But what I will not do is I will not be threatened. I will not be cajoled. I will not be blackmailed that you're going to take viewers away from me, or that other viewers are saying horrible things, which is segueing into the next thing. So that is done. Person has been blocked. The moment you threaten me, you're done. I'm just not going to screw around with that. My family's too important to me. Now, second thing, last thing, fourth thing, whatever it is. And seriously, this is real. This is the most important thing. And this goes to everybody listening to this show and everybody who listens to this show. We got a shit ton on right now. I do this as a job. I do this because I love it. And I do it because we get to spend time with great people on the panel and with you. And it's relaxing and we love it. And even when it's stressful and I'm a dick sometimes, we still love what we do. If you are afraid to say something that you don't agree with the way the show's going, or you don't like the way that I talk, or that I haven't worn a hat at the breakfast table. I didn't wear a hat specifically for this reason today, just to piss people off. And my entire relationship with you is based on a hat or a materialistic look. This isn't the show for you anymore. The comments, I don't know are true, but the point of, I won't say anything to Matt about the show because I'm afraid of getting chewed out. What a ridiculous statement. We get critiques on this show all the time, and I try to balance and listen to them. In fact, the message that I gave with the Christian message, I explained how I listen to critiques, I take them very seriously, and then I try to go ahead and balance my own inequities to make them better, right? I openly admit that. It's a ridiculous notion. Now, there are people in this chat who jump down other people's throat. That stops tonight. Stop ganging up on people. If somebody says Matt's an asshole, great, let us handle it. If somebody says that they disagree or screw Trump, there's no reason to gang up on people. Just let it go. If I have to, you've asked me to let it go, you got to let it go too. Stop jumping down people's throats. Let them have an opinion. Okay? That's all I got to say. I don't have anything else. Leroy and Amy, if you have anything, Olivia, you want to put a button on it? But I'm sick and tired. My weekends are for my family. And I must have spent at least 3 or 4 hours on emails trying to put the proverbial shit back in the horse. Either you start donating to the show for psychotherapy or I'm done. Because I'm serious. I'm $150 an hour. You want to send me a $150 donation? I'll give you an hour of my time. But otherwise, I'm done with it. I'm not here to be your therapist. Okay? That's it. Matthew Owen Spear, allow us to say things and will let us conversate with all of us. Yeah. I'm sorry. Elizabeth said, Matthew Owen Spear allows us to say things and will let us conversate with all. Yeah, that's what we do.
That's the idea.
That's what we do. Jason says this is a better show than it was 2 years ago. Yeah, and I think it will be a better show 5 years from now. But it's never going to be better unless we stop this trivial bullshit and just let's move together. Let's start collecting viewers.
Adults.
Let's stop losing viewers over petty drama. It's just so stupid. It's like high school. All right.
I was going to say, we have a daughter in high school. We have to deal with her shit. We really don't want to deal with it at other times. But we already got our first feedback. The cat needs more camera time. We are working on it, Sven. We are going to get a little camera.
Any more of that cat's beehole, I'm going to be upset.
That's what I'm saying.
We're getting a little camera to put on her tower that we got here behind my desk. So
all right.
You'll be able to see her then.
Amy, speak now or whatever.
I disagree with everything you said, and I don't have anything to add other than yes, that was great.
All right. And to the person I was talking about, I didn't mention your name. I'm just done. I'm done. I'm not going to keep a business email open and continuing to argue with you when I have addressed why your coffee was late. And I'm sorry, unlike the government, I can't control hurricanes. Okay? I'm sorry. Acts of God, I don't mess with. I just don't have that power. I'm working on it. I'm trying to learn. Leroy, do you have anything?
No, it sounded like whatever happened was I'm going to use the word, but don't be all pissy with me. It sounds like a Karen just, was tracking their coffee a little too closely. And when it didn't show up in time, they just disregarded not only the weather, but, the cost of what it means to do business. And, that's one thing that bothers me is you always get tracking numbers. To Matt's point, You can look something up. It's not that damn difficult. You can see
Yeah.
where it's at. If it's already in transit, what's Matt going to do about it? I don't know. I don't have any major issues with what you said at all. I just wish that people, to your point, would grow up and just move on.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, and take that. Take my name out of your mouth. Okay, Will Smith. Whatever. Umberto says, miss you with Dom on Monday. I miss being with Dom on Monday, but I left Spreely and Dom had a decision to make, and it was it's Dom is a loyal dude. That's the best I can say. He's a loyal dude, and I respect it. I mean, there was no hard feelings. We still like each other's stuff, and I know if I called him, he would answer, and there's no hard feeling. He made the best decision for him, and that's okay. I wasn't that important anyway. Here we go. Let's get to it. We got a lot to do. How are you guys feeling about the election? I'm interested, Amy, Leroy, Olivia. This is like halftime. Let's check into it. We've got a few weeks to go, and I'm very interested to hear what you all think of how it's going and what your gut tells you. And we're not going to hold you to it. It's not like I'm going to write this down or anything.
Sure. Can't wait till the election night when you're like, you're wrong, Amy.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. No, never do that.
I will say, I feel like it's a really good split right now. I hate to be like the middle of the road person. I don't have a feeling on which way it's going to go. I truly do not know. I think Trump has the advantage at this moment in time, but I do not know if he will hold that. And I don't know if we're going to get people out there to vote. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. I think people need to vote early. So I'm voting early. I'm voting next week.
Yeah, that's a good point. Leroy?
Well, there's a big difference between what polling information shows, the people that actually place their money on the line, the poly market or the election betting odds. There's a big difference between that group of people and the people that need to show up to the polls on the day of or in the days prior to make sure that those results carry through. There's a big difference between those two. I will say right now, both poly market and election betting odds do show Trump in favor in some cases by what poly market has him by over 10 points right now. But the problem is, to Amy's point, that's going to fluctuate for the next 3 weeks. You're going to see a lot of back and forth. And so we really have to be patient, keep getting the message out there, and be consistent about it. And I really can't, honestly, I cannot wait for politics season, for election season to be over, because I'm tired of hearing Kamala or Trump or Vance coming onto my YouTube feed saying, hey, we know we need a couple of dollars. Look, just people have already made up their minds. If you're shooting for the independents, keep going to those swing states. That'll be the biggest yield for your money.
Hey, speaking of a couple of dollars, folks, you can donate to the Donut Premise Show at thedumshow.com/donate. We need a couple of dollars. Every night we put a dollar amount, and these are usually a little extra for us. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's like $50. The rest is show cost, and you'll be amazed, from streaming software to the overall bandwidth to stream the show and all the preparation and work that we put into the show. We have a goal, and Facebook took our money and said, nope, we're not funding you anymore. We're not going to let you do ads. In fact, it's absolutely ludicrous. I was going through some of the numbers last night, where we were last year to now, and we're talking like a 14 to 15,000% decrease in dollars. That's not a joke. I mean, I can show you the numbers. It is horrible. So what we ask, and you guys have been amazing, we are now at 10 nights in a row of hitting goals since we went to the nightly format. And we have a goal each night. And this will be the 11th night we've tried it. And it's been amazing. We appreciate you. So if you could help out, please do go to thedumshow.com/donate. We take PayPal and we take Venmo, and you can mail us something if you wanted to. All right. So here's what I tell you. Donald Trump is in California and New York, and he wouldn't be. Thank you. Every night.
Thank you. Jeez, Bobby. Thank you.
This woman.
She gives a lot. She always does. That's so nice.
Bobby, we need to get you a T-shirt or something or a hoodie. Why don't you do me a favor? Go on the site and look for something. We'll get you something nice. You've been amazing. Everyone's been amazing, and anyone who keeps doing it just like that, we got to give back something. So, Olivia, please take care of Bobby. She's amazing.
Bobby, please reach out to me.
And it's not just Bobby. I mean, Frank is amazing. Melanie is amazing. Kevin. Who else? Kevin. Who else? It's like every night. Amy helps out.
Glenn
helps out. I mean, everybody's. I just can't even begin to say thank you to the people who do it. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and real quick pop this up, and then this will actually scroll the people who have, just to say thank you to these people down below. All right, so the thing is that Donald Trump is going into New York and California because I truly believe that he believes that he can win the national vote. Let me stop and say this again. I think Trump believes that he can win the popular vote, or at least decrease the popular vote enough. Biebs is Bob. I mean, Frank, Matt, so many people. And here's the reason why. Is Leroy and I have talked about this. If we take a look at the overall votes from 2020, there was an ungodly amount of people who voted because of mail-in ballots. We know this.
Yep.
And that is not going to be here this time. What we're going to see is, in my opinion, anywhere from 30 to 45, 50 million votes less than in 2020. It's not going to be up to 170, 180 million. I don't believe that. The registrations of just the party flip of Republicans or Democrats leaving the Democrat Party and coming into Republicans is huge. I think it's like 2.3 million people have left the Democrat Party and moved over to the Republican Party. Number two, there is a disenfranchisement with the Democrats. They have turned into elitists. And America does not like snobs. And as snobby and uppity and frickin' know-it-alls as Republicans were in 2008 to like 2012, 2014, with the Tea Party funded by the Koch brothers, not Ron Paul, people got sick of people like Michelle Bachmann and Paul Ryan and Trey Gowdy and these guys who were literally Republican elitists. This is a huge change year. And if Trump is seeing that California is going to decrease or switch votes by 1 million or 2 votes going to Trump in New York, this allows him almost to get a mandate, because it doesn't mean he's going to win the national vote. It means that people are going to vote down ticket. He is now vying for his Congress and his House and Senate. So if you get people to show up who are Republicans, who are disenfranchised, and say, fuck it, I'm in California or New York and I'm never going to have a chance to win, he now is showing them, I'm coming here for you, show up for me. That way he can take seats in California and New York and get a mandate, which means Supreme Court justices pushed through, border wall built and funded, reducing money to Ukraine. I mean, this is his entire vision for America, and the tax breaks will become a reality because of these movements he's doing right now by pushing in California and New York. So I wanted to add some perspective. And if he feels that, and that's truly, and he's not going to these swing states, that means that Kamala is dead in these swing states. And I've told you she already was. I showed you on the numbers from 16 to 20 how he is only about a half a point to a point behind in these swing states, versus where he was in 16 and 20, anywhere from 3.5 to 8 points behind in these swing states. And he overperformed in all of them against Biden and Hillary. She doesn't have a big enough lead, right? If the election was held today, I think Donald Trump would absolutely frickin' run away with it. Okay. Leroy needs to go. I wanted to explain that. Leroy, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add a little context to that. So from 2004 to 2008, the increase in the number of voter turnout was only like 9 million people. From 2008 to 2012 was only closer to like 2 million. From 2012 to 2016, it was closer to like 5 million. And then from 2016 to 2020, the voter turnout blossomed somehow to over 22 million in difference. So what Matt is talking about is now that the mail-in registration or the mail-in voting is going to be much less of a factor because there's no Rona. I would expect that 158 million that popped in last time to actually shrink to Matt's point. I'm going to take a stab, and I'm going to say it's probably closer to like maybe 145. 145 to 148, somewhere in there.
I wonder about that because here's the thing is the amount of ballots is what I'm referring to. So there was 180. So when you talk about all in, so that's people showing up, overall absentee and mail-in ballots. Those aren't people who actually return the ballot, right? So what you're citing are actually numbers of overall people voting. What I'm saying is that you're going to lose those mail-in ballots, but there's going to be less ability for people to vote who didn't vote before. So it's not like they're going to party switch. I think it's a complete loss. I believe that people are not going to be sitting home. These are not voters. These are people who went to the mailbox, saw a ballot, filled it out because Orange Man's bad. They also voted for Trump too. So I think you take 20 million votes out of the entire equation and all those additional ballots, which could have been, let's be honest, could have been ballot harvested, could have just been people collecting ballots and turning them in, could have been a neighbor or a friend. We don't know. But the point is when you take that out of the equation, you're going to have less turnout. And that's where I believe we could drive this number down. Because look at the previous years. What was it in 2012, 2016, and 2020? Will you let me know?
Yeah, 2012 was 129,139,000. 2016 it was 136,787,000, and then 2020 is 158 million.
I'll be honest with you. I don't. When you have two candidates that are unpopular, you don't get the result you're looking for. Yeah. You just don't. And I believe it. I'm saying my sweet spot I've been saying 128 to 135 million. I think you're going to see depreciation this year. Leroy's right. It very well could be around 145. But to me, that is going to be based upon the get out and vote effort of Donald Trump. And if he decreases that popular vote, this is why. Because he's inspiring his base to get out. And I don't think Democrats are inspired to vote for Kamala Harris. I'm just letting you know.
And it's noteworthy that at least two times in the past, there have actually been less votes from the prior election. Noteworthy was 1984 to 88, when we went from 92 million to only 91 million. And then from 92 to 96, where it went from 104 million to 96 million. It does go down. So Matt could be right. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air.
Liv?
You have a question from a viewer.
There's a bunch I saw. Go ahead.
Okay, from Chevelle. Wants to know, can the governor reassign Social Security numbers to illegals for driver's licenses, and can they vote with those IDs?
No.
Okay.
No. So if you give somebody an EIN, an employment identification number, that's not the same as Social Security. So there is a very big difference. If you're on a work visa, you can get an EIN and assign so you can pay taxes. Illegals work under the table. So they're not going to go apply for a Social Security and get an ID. Now, if they're specifically giving people an identification is different than a driver's license and an overall valid ID. Completely different. It's a question that they are assigning illegal Social Security numbers. Is that what they're saying?
I don't know. They just want to know, can a governor assign Social Security numbers, or can they get Social Security numbers?
Not if they're illegal.
Not legal.
No. Not if they're illegal. They can get an EIN, though. You can apply for an EIN right now. Everybody can. And illegals do pay and use Social Security numbers of other people. I've got one who's using mine, and there's nothing I can do about it. So that's where I-9 is supposed to come in. That's where E-Verify is supposed to come in, and all these processes to ensure that they get caught. But overall, voting, I want to just destroy a misnomer, and then I'm going to give it to Leroy quick. He's got his finger up. You're not seeing illegals vote in national elections. Now, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Has it happened? Sure. But understand the process to get into a voter database. You have to be an American citizen and you have to be registered. I'm just letting you know. And if you walk up and try to vote, just walk in and try to vote and say, hi, my name's Bobby Fred. Can you go ahead and I want to vote? The first thing they're going to do is ask you for identification and see if you are registered to vote. If you're not voting. They will not let you vote. And there are a million things. Your zip code could be wrong. Your address wasn't verified. You got a verification letter 6 months before the election that you did not send back. There's so many different state rules. But that is why they have a line of people off to the right. Those people aren't going to the gas chamber. Those people are working with a voting captain to identify and try to get them to vote. And they're going to do whatever they can to get you to vote. But they're not allowing illegals to vote. Now, in local elections, they do. There are certain cities where mayors have allowed illegals to vote. And that is not a national election. That is completely different. Leroy, Amy, whoever wants to go.
Real quick, I just wanted to make the distinction there. If the argument is that somehow a governor can, strike a catalyst so that more people go ahead and get their social security information, what you're talking about is a disparity between a state level government and the actual federal government that controls the Social Security Administration. And if that were to happen, thank you, Matthew. If that were to happen, you would be talking about an influx of several million Social Security numbers to be processed within 3 weeks, 4 weeks? That's not something the Social Security Administration can handle easily. So I don't see that as being a factor at all. And then something else that you had said, and I just missed it. As you had said your last sentence, it drifted away from me. Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. And
it was a good point too.
Well, then, hey. I want to make sure people understand something. I told you guys in 2020 to not get distracted with a stolen election shit with Georgia. And what did you do? You lost 2 Senate seats, and we lost the majority. I'm asking you now to stop getting distracted. I don't care if illegals vote. If Christians show up and if gun owners show up, this won't even be close. This will be 1984, and this will be Mondale versus Reagan, and she won't win California. That's how bad she is. She couldn't win a primary vote in California.
Right.
You guys don't understand. Socialists are not liked. And even though these old people don't want to vote for Trump, when they get in there and they have to go ahead and pull that lever, there is no lever, but when they have to pull that lever, they're gonna think about their moms, their dads, Khrushchev, Kennedy, Cuban Missile Crisis, Mao, Che Guevara, Ming. They're going to think about Putin. They're going to think about all this shit. And they are going to say, do I really want to vote for her? Okay? You got to stop focusing on the stuff that you can't control. The only thing you can control is to get your ass out there and vote and bring as many people who are gun owners and Christians with you. Because if we get a 51% turnout from Christians, we're fucked. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
We're fucked. If we can get a 65%, this will be a landslide. A fucking landslide. And I don't care how many illegals, but folks, please listen to me. Please listen to me. The illegals are in New Mexico. They're in Arizona. They're in California. Many states, Texas, they have very strict voting laws, and they have multiple redundancies. How do I know this? Because I've lived in Arizona, I've lived in New Mexico, I've lived in Colorado, and I've lived in Texas, and I've lived in California. I know their voting laws, and illegals are not voting. I'm letting you know illegals are not voting. Okay? You can either believe me or you don't have to. Now, do people get in? Are there fake IDs? I don't know. Yes, voter fraud happens. But at the level that you're talking about, it is not going to decide this election. It will not decide this election. It will if DACA happens. It will if they go ahead and they absorb all 20 million of these illegals and make them American citizens. We'll never win another election again.
Right.
But not in this election. Focus. Go ahead. Whoever wanted to go.
Amy.
No, I don't really have much to add. I feel like a loser today. I have nothing to say. I'm very middle of the road. And
This is the election.
yeah, I mean, I disagree with everything you guys are saying. I do believe in our voter laws. At least every place I've ever voted, it's very strict. They're very by the book. So I've never had any problems at a polling place ever in my life. So I haven't personally seen it, and I don't know anyone that I know personally that has seen any issues either.
Yeah.
So it's like hearsay to me, and I'm not buying it. So.
And listen, I can't allow. Yep, in 1 second. I can't allow disinformation on my channel. To say that you only have to be a resident of the United States to get a Social Security card, that is a complete, blatant lie. That is absolutely 100% disinformation and not fucking true. Stop doing this. I'm not going to call you out again, but this is like your 5th time doing this shit this month, and I'm going to ban your ass if you keep it up. I'm done. You used to be a credible source of information, but now you're distracting and you're saying shit that isn't true. You have to be a U.S. citizen, 100%, in order to get a Social Security card. Children, newborns have to be an eligible Social Security card, have to have U.S. citizenship and a birth certificate, 100%. Anybody who has a kid knows this. You have to have proof of identity that you're from that state as well, depending upon which Social Security card you get. And if you do not show that you're a resident and you're in that state, you will not get that. And that has to be the parents. Non-citizens lawfully in order to be eligible, they have to have an authorization to work. They have to have immigration status. They have to have a scheduled hearing if they are there from claiming asylum. They have to have work eligibility proof and proof of identity. All of those things have to take place in order to get a Social Security card for non-citizens. Non-citizens not required to work. Social Security card is only if they have a non-work reason. Say they're receiving federal benefits, or they're here, or they're an NGO from Afghanistan, which we saw. The documentation has to be from a government agency, though, explaining the need for a Social Security card and for non-work purposes. If they don't have that, they don't get it. And it has to be a state and a federal issued reasoning. And they also have to have proof of identity and immigration. Application process is the SS5 form. We had it for Hayden. We had it for Ethan. It's an application that goes directly to the Social Security office. You have to submit original documents that are certified copies and must be notarized. Or you can visit a local Social Security and they will take digital copies and notarize them there.
Yes,
Marine. Stop spreading disinformation on my channel. I am not naive when it comes to voter fraud, but voter fraud is like 0.0025%. It's not the problem. The problem is you not showing up to vote. Because even with 2020, if we would have had 65% of Christians and gun owners show up, he would have won by 30 million votes. Stop blaming illegals and get your ass off the fucking couch and vote and bring 10 people with you.
Yep.
I'm done. I'm done with a stolen election. Stop suppressing the vote. You know what you should be saying? Vote, guys. We got to vote. Everyone's got to vote. Be positive. Get people out there. Yes, it does make a difference. Don't say your vote doesn't count. It counts. We need you out there. Stop inadvertently suppressing the vote with this bullshit. If they steal it, then we have a conversation. Then we'll talk. But all you're doing is disenfranchising voters from voting, and we need every one of them to vote. Go ahead, Libby.
So Maureen had a question about, doesn't every child born in the United States get a Social Security number? Yes, but we still have to apply for it as parents. Now in New Mexico with Hayden, the hospital gave us her birth certificate. So we had the birth certificate from the hospital. We took it home. I had to send it in. They gave us instructions, send it in Social Security office, and we got our Social Security card like a month later. Ethan, on the other hand, California is a little different. No, we did not get his birth certificate. We had to apply to get his birth certificate and pay $25 for it. We had to pay for the freaking thing.
It's true.
$25. And here's the thing.
Yeah, but the kid was already there.
Doesn't matter.
If you wait for over, like if they're a month older, it goes to like 50. We had to pay 50 because I waited until he was like over a month to ask for it. Then you have to take that and then apply for the Social Security card from Texas or from California. So California is just a pain, which brought me to my other thing is I was just thinking about voting because I voted in several different states in multiple elections from all the states we've lived in. And I've always gone to the polls physically, except in California. And I don't remember asking for an absentee ballot, but I got one in the mail. I don't remember. And I remember I registered to vote when I got my ID, but I was also like 26 weeks pregnant with a 2.5-year-old at the DMV for 6 hours. And it's possible I don't remember what I hit on the application, but I do remember I registered, but I don't remember asking for an absentee ballot. And it got mailed to me anyway.
Let me explain something. Okay, so let's talk about California. California doesn't require an ID for a reason. They require registration where you already show your ID. Every single registered voter in California gets a ballot mailed to them. Every single one of them.
Wow.
And whether you want to go ahead and fill it out there and then mail it in and vote or show up in person is up to you. However, if you fill one out and then show up in person, they'll say you've already voted. So every single mail-in ballot there has an ISBN. It's essentially a 32-bit encryption or 32 numbered encryption that's on the back, which is scanned. They run this through the voting machines when you mail it in, and they also do it on day of election, and they certify it with a national database. Thank you, Catherine. You guys are amazing.
Wow, thank you. Wow. Gosh, you guys are amazing.
So that is why in Virginia, you go ahead and you go on day of, you fill it out, and then you put it in the fax machine and you get a green button. When you see the green, it means it's accepted. It's checked against the database. You have not voted before and it's accepted. That's it. If you've done a mail-in ballot before that, it will show red. Because that 32-digit number is assigned to your voter registration. So when you fill out your registration and you get that number isn't copied because every election it changes and it's just assigned to you. It's randomly done by computer. So when people are like, we can't do computerized elections, guys, it already is. For you people to sit here and say, you shouldn't be able to vote online. You're already doing it. Everything's checked by computer. So if they hack that database, we're screwed. They didn't. They don't. But you need to understand is that's why California does what it does. Do you agree with it? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Colorado's the same way. Colorado's been doing mail-in ballots for 15 years, and they're one of the most secured elections in the country. And I hate Colorado now because it's completely liberal. But you got to understand, that's not important. Trust the captains on the ground. Trust the Republicans who are going to be there watching. They have more poll captains. Ashburn, Virginia has its own dedicated office of Republicans who are going to be at every single county, every single polling station, going to war to ensure that these things are taken care of. Worry about you. Show up, take care of your own self before you start worrying about everyone else. All right? Jump in Georgia.
You know,
fired up.
I can see the passion, and God, I applaud it. And I wish everyone had that same level of, commitment to the country. We have several hundred people on the podcast right now, and I will tell you that in the swing states specifically, anyone who's watching the show, if you have relatives in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Virginia, make sure you're discussing with them the issues that are happening there in their state. In Arizona, it's a border state. In Nevada, they have the most fentanyl deaths of any state in the country. Pennsylvania, it's a heavy fracking state. And if you don't have anything in common with any of those other states, just bring up the tax brackets. Kamala has already said,
Pennsylvania.
Kamala has already said that if she wins, she's going to let the Trump tax brackets go ahead and dissolve, which means that if you're making $47,100, right, your taxes will go up from 12% to 15%. If you make $100,000, it's going to go up from 22 to 25%. So everyone has some meat in this race. You have to get involved. If you care about your income, if you care about your relatives, if you care about the general state of the country, please take a friend, take a neighbor, get out and vote.
So Simon says just downvoted our show because he says every illegal vote matters. One is too many. You know what's worse? Not voting at all. See, dude, right. This is your problem. You're the glass half full type guy. And I'm not a glass, or you're glass half empty, and you think I'm glass half full. No. The only thing I care about is the glass itself. I don't give a shit whether it's full, whether it's empty, because that's what I'm going to try to achieve. If it's empty, I'm going to fill it. If it's full, I'm going to drink it. I don't give a shit. I'm not a pessimist optimist. You have a choice. Keep suppressing people and pretending that you have the answers, which you don't, because I can have you call in right here. I'll give you $10,000. Prove right now that the election was stolen. Prove it to me. I'll listen to everything you have to say. I'll give you 3 hours. I'll put you on until midnight. You can give me all the evidence. You can mail it to me through my email. You can send screenshots. You can do it. Show me. I'll put everything you send me. And I promise I will blow you out of the fucking water. Because I've already litigated this for over 4 years. You're wrong. You're full of shit. The Democrats outplayed us. They sent out 50 million mail-in ballots. Just look at the numbers. We just went over the numbers. Why don't you listen? So instead of downvoting and being a prick, how about you just listen and ask more questions? Because you don't know what you're talking about. Simon says, fuck the write-off. Okay? Merry fucking Christmas. Let's get to...
Question.
Oh. Go ahead.
Carrie from Wimkin has a question.
Wimkin.
Why is early voting pushed so hard rather than on voting day? It's still just one vote and should be counted regardless.
Yeah, because it suppresses the vote. Democrats know it. So they get early polls, they get early reads off of this. But when you encourage people to early vote, you get a higher turnout than day of. And the reason why is because people have things happen. Baseball game takes place. Maybe they get sick. Maybe it snows. Maybe there's a hurricane. We saw this in Ohio. We saw it in Iowa. So you what you're doing is you're leaving things to chance. How many people have something that seriously distracts them on election day from voting?
Right.
It's got to be a lot. There's got to be a lot. So when you vote early, you're guaranteeing a vote. Now, here's the thing. Somebody just said, hey, Matt, when I vote, I want to show up on the day of. Too bad I don't have that 32 barcode on the back. Yes, you do. When you check in to vote, they check it against your registration, and then they print it out for you. That's what you're filling out. And when you walk out, that you scan it, or they manually scan it during the count. Sometimes it depends on the state. In Virginia, you do it right there. You scan it, it turns green, and you walk out the door. They do that also in California in some parts. They do it in the San Fernando Valley in Kern County. But the point is that registration is still checked. They validate that ballot either way against the registry, and that's why it's counted. Now, you do have that. Every single place in all 50 states, Virgin Islands, absentee ballots, Guam, it doesn't matter, all have registration codes on the back of your voting ballot. When you vote and you go in person or you go to mail-in, just look at the ballot. It's there. Otherwise, they can't stop fraud. Because somebody could vote in Minnesota, somebody could vote in Colorado, somebody could vote in Florida, and take flights from 8 in the morning till 8 at night and vote in 4 different states. That's not the way it works. Okay? All right. Go ahead.
Can I add something to that?
Yes,
and I just learned
absolutely.
this, and I don't actually know if it's true. I never fact checked this, but someone actually told me that if you vote early, they're talking about the Republican Party specifically, so I'm assuming this is true for both, though, they can then remove your name from all their marketing information, and then they're actually saving more money to put towards other things. So if you vote early, you're actually saving your party information. So I was like, oh, I'm going to vote early then. That just makes sense.
I'm going to go vote. I'm going to vote right now. Yeah. I'm not voting early because it's a conflict of interest for the show. Right? Yeah. I just won't do it. Now, the other hosts can do it, but Olivia and I are not going to vote until day of. Nothing will stop us from being there. Nothing. We will vote. And I want to see what's happening on election day. But if you think that if you mail in your vote that it's not going to be counted, you can check against your .gov address, go to your state's.gov, and you can see about 3 weeks after you mail it in that it will be counted. And if it's not, you just show up. You keep checking, and then day of, you're registered, you go in and you check it. And they might say, oh, you know what, we didn't update the .gov site, but here it is. They'll turn it around. They'll show you on an iPad, your vote is counted. It's right here. And you go, thank you, and you have a nice day, and you walk out. Folks, stop worrying about the things you can't control. Focus on the things you can. You are not going to solve the problem. All you're doing is turning other people off to vote. Enough of this bullshit. I'm sick of hearing about a stolen election. It's 2024. I don't want to live in the fucking past, and I don't want to talk about losing 2024 because we were focused on 2020. Downvote me all you want. What a dick. All right.
Real quick.
We gotta,
to Matt's point, for the people who are questioning, well, what could possibly happen on the day of? Gee, I don't know. Any of the reasons one might have to call off work. Sick kid, car breaks down, sick dog, something happens at work, power outages, weather, things that life can happen. So make sure that you are covering your bases. If you're truly concerned with the current direction of the country, then the way to mitigate that is to get that vote in early.
So this is a great question. Roger Ware says, I believe it's Ware, if I got it right, brother, I hope. He says, oh shit. He basically says, what about the people in the hurricane? Okay, this is a great question. Same thing that happened in 2020. There was Hurricane 2022, Florida. And Florida, we saw what happened in Florida. So they will have mobile polling stations in these cities. They will bring in, Red Cross will coordinate. This happened during Hurricane Harvey. We didn't have a preliminary vote, but we did have some city council votes that happened that it was actually collective for the county and the town. They will make sure that you get your vote. Now, if you can't, what you need to do is go and update your voter registration. You can do that online with your state.gov, and you would change your address to a temporary address for them to say you're going to need verification and paperwork and all that, but you will be able to vote because in your hurricane preparedness emergency kit that you fill out for insurance and everything else, they will have a new place of residence for you. That gets sent to the voter registry. That gets sent to retirement. That gets sent to Blue Cross Blue Shield. This stuff is handled as part of the emergency relief. Now, you want to double check, you want to triple check, but you can vote. And you can go in person. And they say, well, I don't have an ID. Once again, when you go ahead and fill out your paperwork as a hurricane victim, all of these things they will ask you. Do you have any paperwork? Do you have your documentation? Do you have a driver's license? Do you have your birth certificate? Do you have Social Security? Do you have your bank account information? All these type of things will be asked, and you will have processes to go through to retrieve them, okay? So is there time? Absolutely. Okay, they're not going to, you have an opportunity to vote. Now, for those people who are saying, oh my God, it's all red states have blue areas, and Asheville is extremely blue, okay? Stop pretending that this hurricane has a political fucking agenda. It doesn't. It was a catastrophe. They happen all the time. It's hurricane time. It's hurricane season. It's an election year. Go back and look at 16. Go back and look at 20. Go look back at the blizzard during the primaries when it was negative 23 degrees in Iowa. That just happened 18 months ago. Shit happens in the big city. Vote. Stop making excuses. Get out there. All right. Good. Ready? Break. Anything else, Liv?
Not yet.
Can voting machines go down accidentally on purpose on voting day? Well, it's kind of a loaded question because accidentally and on purpose aren't the same thing. So let me explain. This happened in Arizona, okay? This happened in Arizona when we were there. Voting machines do go down. Electronics fail, okay? It happens. But there are other ways to vote outside of that. Usually they'll send you to a precinct where they are working. They will give you an ability to actually do a mail-in ballot. There are other ways to vote, okay? But more than likely, they'll send you to another precinct. And you can go to another voting station, another polling station, and do it there. But everyone who assumes that anything bad happens has an owner. This is why we're in a bad spot. That's why we believe that space lasers, Jewish space lasers, hit Lahaina. This is why we believe that the government controls hurricanes in North Carolina. This is why we believe that that January 6th was all FBI agents. There were no Trump supporters there. Every time something bad happens, we want to go ahead and decide in a shooting whether it's a Trump supporter or a Democrat or whether they're black or white. We always have to assume nefarious things with an owner versus pointing out where it belongs. Some things are happenstance, some things are accidents, some things are fortuitous, and some things are just bad people doing bad things. Learn how to identify which is which. Please. All right, are we done?
Question.
Oh, fuck.
I know. It's
Good
election
Lord.
season.
I know. I know. Hey,
what about people in hospitals? Like what happens like if
they have
it was an emergency
Yeah.
and they went to the hospital like that weekend or
They have
something
power
like
of
that.
attorneys, right? So you can sign over a power of attorney. You can also do an absentee ballot. You can request an absentee ballot day of.
Mm-hmm.
So in most states, sometimes it's cut off 72 hours, sometimes it's a week. But if you're going to go into the hospital for a surgery on voting day, then you did an absentee ballot. These are all basic questions that your .gov can answer.
Yes.
Go onto your government state page and read. Understand these questions. Google is a beautiful thing, folks. I don't trust Google because it's controlled by the Democrats. Fine, then go to Bing. I don't trust Bing because Bill Gates is trying to go ahead and create food, make us eat grasshoppers. Fuck. Then use DuckDuckGo. I don't like patés. They're eating the cats. They're eating the ducks. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know how to help you. Just stop being a conspiracy theorist and just go research this shit. It's there for you. God. Next. Is there anything else? Please tell me we're done.
I hope we're done.
You know what? If this helps people and they get out and vote, then this is worth it, right? It's worth it. And I'm joking with all of you. We do this every year, and it's worth it. It's worth it. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. All right. They're eating the cats. Folks, can I just say something? I don't care what you think about Elon Musk. What he is doing for technology is absolutely mind-boggling, unreal. From brain implants to help people with ALS, cerebral palsy, from rockets that are reverse taking off. This shit is like insane. From robots that actually interact with you and walk around and can do your cooking and cleaning. He's either going to kill us all or he's going to just like take us into the next, you know?
I robot it. Yeah. I did not murder him. Yeah. It could happen.
It's insane. I want you to watch this. This is incredible. This is not fake. This is 100% real.
Oh,
watch this.
Starship.
There's a booster coming back into space. Oh shit! Look at all these people who are not here.
You're gonna get copyright.
That song.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Interstellar. Look at that. Let me tell you, the engineering.
Wait.
Unbelievable.
Wait. Just watch this. And it catches it.
Yeah.
It catches it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Do you understand how impossible? We went from rockets blowing up in space shuttles to doing this. This is unreal. I mean, unreal. So there's one other I want to show you, and then we can talk about it. This one blew my mind. Like I was like, Olivia and I looked at each other. We're like, we want one.
I'm naming it.
They're terrible.
C-3PO.
I don't know. I'm scared of them.
Instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus. And as you can see, we started with someone in a robot suit, sort of down.
That's then not a person in a suit.
Progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that anyone could own. So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks, whatever you can think of.
Hey, I'm going to answer Brian's question right here. Remind me.
And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind. Yeah. And how did we
buy one?
Hold on. Wait till you hear it
products
talk.
And services, not
like
walled off.
Remember when Siri was actually impressive? This, I want to hear it talk. So you can. Oh, here it is.
Oh, it's
Optimus.
Well, yeah, but they haven't.
I haven't.
They haven't.
Oh, it's amazing.
Optimus. People here today. It's insane. It's even talking. Hi to my friend John.
John? Where's John?
Right here.
Oh, hello, John.
How are you?
How are you doing?
That's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose. Probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Almond Valley, or do you live in Santa Teresa area?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice area.
Where do you live?
Beautiful hiking I hear out there.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Figures. Yeah, this is awesome.
That's where they train us. That's where we get our builds, and that's where we work with a wonderful group of people.
What's the hardest thing about being a robot?
Trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are. And that's something I try harder to do every day, and I hope that you will help us become that way.
Well, awesome. Nice to meet you, Optimus.
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
No.
What the?
I just want a sex doll. I just want a sex doll.
I was
That's
just
it.
going to say, I give it 3 months before somebody fucking figures out how to suction cup one of those dildos to the front of it so they can have fun.
Here we go, folks. Here comes the sex talk. If I could get my wife with all the beauty and all the brains without the mouth, this would be such. Well, don't even start with me. I was
you
kidding.
need mouth.
I was thinking more along the lines like Leroy.
Take that, Optimus.
We could throw Leroy in the middle. Leroy, he's like, again? No, listen. All jokes aside,
from last time.
it's okay, dude. Jeez, Louise. I think it's scary. Whoops. I think it's a little scary, especially when it comes to automation, when it comes to work. I think when it comes to, we already have lost human interaction from a point of, can we continue to lose much more before we lose our identity? There's questions. And I think Elon Musk isn't doing this haphazardly, which is probably, one of the most exciting things. He's actually taking, I think, care to have some checks and balances in this process. What do you guys think about this?
I'll go first. I think Elon Musk is probably the most brilliant person of our lifetime. I think he is incredible, and he has an incredible team of people who work with him to make these amazing things.
Here comes the butt.
I don't want a robot, and I don't want it. If it didn't look human, I would probably have. I think I would have a better idea of accepting it to do something. Not in my home.
That's cool. That's really neat. That's a good idea. Yeah.
But I don't want a robot that already says, I want to become more human. No, thank you. I've seen all the movies and I'm not having this. And I don't want to go to like a restaurant and a robot's waiting on me. I don't want this. I don't want any of it. Like maybe there's a place for them, like in healthcare, like for people who need a healthcare worker at their home, like the elderly, or, like that might be
Smother
a great, like,
smother grandma. You're going to a better place. Stop kicking.
I would not let a robot babysit my children. I don't even let the TV babysit my children. So like I'm very much against.
Would you allow a robot to protect your children? Right. So like here's a question. So you're asleep in your room, whatever, and you program that thing to watch the entryway and the back door and use it as an alarm system. Would that be a benefit? Somebody who could, while you're sleeping, ensure that your home's not broken into, and everyone's like, well, get a dog. I understand. We can do a lot of those things, but would you entrust it to do that?
If it's outside of my house and didn't have access to the inside of my home, I would be open to that. Maybe. I still don't trust it. I don't like these things. There's something about this that inherently, like in the pit of my stomach, says, no, this is wrong. Yeah. It reminds me of like God in a way, like creating something in our image. It bothers me to my core. There's something that's just really, really wrong about this to me personally. I don't like it.
Do you feel that way about like with prosthetics or artificial insemination at all? I'm not trying to be competitive. I'm asking because I really want to know.
Prosthetics, I don't have a problem with. But if you want to, I mean, that's like a whole show in itself. I know tons of people who have used, in vitro and things like that. I do not think that they're bad people, but I do not support it. Okay. And I know tons of kids who are here, and they're every child is a gift from God, no matter how they got here. So I'm not saying that's not the reason that they're like. I think they are truly gifts from God, no matter how they came here. But there's a lot of problems with in vitro that's not spoken about, and I really don't support the practice. There's too many problems that people don't talk about.
Fair enough. Liv, what do you think?
I would totally get one in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I am inherently lazy. And if somebody will do my laundry, if I didn't have to do another load of laundry for the rest of my life, that is worth $30,000 in my mind. I hate laundry.
Yeah.
And if I could have somebody, if my house was clean every single day and I didn't have to do it, and it could start cooking dinner for me, so dinner was on the table on time, and it would just, honestly, it would make my life easier, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know it would be nice for you, Matthew, with protection of the house at night. And you
No,
might be
I
able
would
to
never
get some
trust a
sleep.
robot for that. I wouldn't. But here's the thing: is that I look at it this way. I don't trust my alarm system completely either. It's there as a tool, right? Me with a gun is going to be better than any damn robot. I promise you that. But I still, as an early warning system, or that robot could stand up but then you got to teach it combat, right? Then you got to teach it intent. Then anyone who breaks in, what are the parameters? What if grandma comes over, right? Well, if your mom came over, we would just blame it on the robot. But the point is like, you have to understand is when people say artificial intelligence, it's really not, it needs another letter. And it should be AII, artificial intelligence indexing, because that's what it is. All it is the ability in nanoseconds to create and capture and access information and then put it in a systematic format that it's programmed to do. It's not intelligence, right? It's not problem solving. And that is the thing you need. That's why humans are completely unique. That's why we have 72,000 different fucking types of insects, and we have different animals, and we are the only ones who have developed, because of things like the opposable thumb, the cerebral cortex, are the soul, and I believe that makes us very, very unique. And to assume that someday somebody is going to be able to create human thought and then ill intent, I question. And it's not because it's like, well, nobody thought we would fly. No, I know, I got you. Nobody thought we would, be able to create a nuclear weapon. I get all that, but quickly, the computations for that robot just to do picking up a bag are more computations than it took to launch Apollo and bring it back. That is how advanced we've become. But once again, it's not the amount of computation, it's the speed at which it works. That is what is truly amazing. And without someone telling it to do that, it will not do that on its own. When we get to that point where creativity and ill intent and nefarious actions are created, then we have a completely different situation. Leroy, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I thought it was interesting listening to Amy and then listening to Olivia, who kind of gave it very different kind of, I think Olivia kind of sees it as a Roomba and Amy sees it as like the T-800, right? And
right. Satan.
The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, right? It's not exactly a Roomba. It's not a car, right? But I do wonder about what a potential hacker might be able to unveil with the thing. It's not unlike, some of Elon's other items, the Tesla car, where they try to maybe mess with the code. And it is interesting, right? When we've already had scores of movies that have explored some of this, right? Star Trek had Data, right? Mm-hmm. And the Prometheus movies had David, who was fucking evil. And so we have to kind of figure out, all right, well, what are the rules going to look like that we're going to impose on this thing? And is it going to be connected to the internet? Will it be interacting with some sort of hive mind? Will somebody be able to manipulate the code at all so that it does somebody else's bidding? Those are all scary notions. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Will Jews be able to blow it up, like they did with pagers?
With their lasers?
We're naming ours C-3PO, by the way.
C-3PO is a putz. I'm not going to.
Well, what would you name it then?
R2-D2.
Oh, okay.
No,
it's got to be Star Wars something.
Yeah. I was like, how?
No, it's going to be Darth Vader.
Well, I wouldn't name it anything because I'm not going to give it a human quality. I would probably call it, I wouldn't call it anything. I just say robot, right? I don't even know if I want one, because here's the thing is I'm going to take a different aspect. The more we dilute human interaction, we lose what makes us unique to the rest of the animal kingdom. The rest of the animal kingdom is ultimately looking at how to eliminate each other for food, for territory, for sustenance, for energy, for mating purposes, for reproduction. That's the animal kingdom. And even if it's chimpanzees. And human beings work differently. We go ahead and use our emotions to justify our actions, where the animal kingdom justifies their actions through the reasoning of survival. And I think the more robotic and artificial we become, I think we lose that human element, and that scares the shit out of me. Like, I don't care what the robot does. I care what we do. Like, I think it'd be awesome for Ready Player One. I'm playing video games my whole life to go into that world. I don't want to, because I know what would happen. I would sit down on the fucking couch and I would stay in that world, and it's like a drug, an opiate. And I think we have to be very careful to surrender our superiority in this world, because we are the top of the food chain, and I don't want to surrender that. So that's my fear.
Don't forget Brian's question.
What was it?
I don't remember.
So,
you flashed it up so quick I didn't see it.
oh my God.
You just said, "Don't let me forget Brian's question."
Here it is. Have I considered other platforms like Rumble and X? Yes, and I'm on both. Okay. Oh, there's two questions. Jesus, asking, what is the story behind Dark MAGA? Elon Musk, when he showed up to Butler in the conversation, Dark Brandon, right? So when he puts on his sunglasses, he's like, I'm Dark Brandon. Stupid. Elon Musk showed up and he had a Make America Great Again hat that wasn't red. It was all black with gray lettering and you could barely see it. And he goes, I'm Dark MAGA. And he wore sunglasses, and that's the story. Next, he said, if you can address the proposals from Trump, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Medicare, they all sound really great, but I only really agree with no tax on Medicare. I don't know how you can make the other two proposals even work. Well, because here's the thing. Trump, whether you all know this or not, the Federal Reserve, I think it was like 1946 or some shit, maybe 48. We had tariffs. We never had a universal tax. Taxes were completely like not a thing. The founding fathers hated taxes, and until the Fed was created, and I want to say it wasn't Eisenhower.
I'm gonna look it up.
It was, look it up for me. It may have been. Was it FDR? It was FDR. I'm pretty sure. Just check. But taxes were, I think, we had tariffs. Now, everyone knows there's going to be a pain point for tariffs, but Donald Trump believes that he can actually get American productivity and manufacturing back, and COVID really put a kibosh on that. But companies were coming back. We had automotive industries, we had Apple, we had plenty of telemarketing companies were coming back and leaving India. So Donald Trump believes that tariffs are the way to go to reinstate and revitalize American manufacturing. I happen to agree with him. There's going to be some pain points. We're going to pay a little bit more, but we did with DVDs anyway. DVD player came out, it was $999. Now you can get one for $9.99. There's going to be innovation, but until America starts making chipsets and start making their own LCDs and their own speaker systems, we have to start doing these things, especially with prescription. Look at prescriptions. We outsource all of that. And the reason it's so fucking expensive is because we don't make it ourselves. We have to start manufacturing in the United States. We have to stop exporting movies and music and start actually doing things that mean something so we can get away from China and other countries. We do that with tariffs. And I've never believed in tariffs in my life until 2016. I was against them like most Republicans because I believe in a free market. They're gouging because they're not playing fair. In a fair market, in a free market, it should be fair. It's not fair with currency manipulation, with slave labor, with them dumping shit into our country that we can't compete with is destroying innovation in the United States. Leroy?
Real quick, the first income tax was dated back to 1861. Part of it was
but that wasn't federal. No, federal income tax, dude.
This says the first personal income tax was imposed by Congress
Yep.
in 1861. But that being said, that's still more than 100. It's 100 years after the inception of the United States. We're only 248 years in, which means for the last 150 years, we've had an income tax. I think way back when it started, it was only like 1%, and now it's more than half your paycheck.
Yeah. Okay. So it was 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1913. So it was amended into the Constitution for a national U.S. tax system. That was my point. Federal Reserve was established after 1907, so 1913. So it was not FDR. A little bit before that. And then a federal income tax and state income tax.
Somebody said 1913.
Yeah, I already did. It was
Okay.
Woodrow. We already said it. It was Woodrow Wilson is correct. I skipped about 20 years. But either way, my point is I knew it was in the 1900s, and we had tariffs up until that point. And even though Congress implemented certain tax, like poll tax, or not poll tax, but toll tax on roadways and bridges. That wasn't, they did that in the 1800s. So I'm not saying there wasn't taxes. Thank you, Maria. What I'm saying is a national tax like it is now, where the IRS is established. And the IRS, I think, is the year that I was thinking. Just checking. Nope, that was 1913 too. Yeah. So federal income tax, the Fed, IRS were all. Well, maybe hold on. I want to find this out, then we can move on. This is good information.
Yeah, it is.
IRS was established in 1862. So that's where you get the 1862, where Congress went ahead and established the Internal Revenue Service. But now, here's the thing. It was called the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and this is where I remember 1953, it was actually renamed to the IRS, the Internal Revenue Revenue Service. So, yeah. So sometimes dates the Bureau of Internal Revenue. So that was when Eisenhower did it. Eisenhower renamed it to the IRS. So I mixed up a few dates. Who gives a shit? I'm getting old. Something to think about when it comes to, Elon Musk is, he was the hero and the left loved him. But this is now, the list is getting long of people who they loved, who they hate now. And it's interesting that they are, instead of seeing that he is a genius, that he is creating things that are absolutely incredible, they're rating it on his political beliefs. And it just goes to show, no matter who you are, if you disagree with liberals, it doesn't matter what you do for society, you will be castigated out from them, just like Donald Trump was. Because I can show you pictures of Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali and Jesse Jackson, all with Donald Trump, celebrating with him, Rainbow Coalition. That is a very big switch from where he is today. Here's an example of that. I'm not going to dox this person. I've already found out the information, and I'm not going to say anything because somebody else will find it and they'll do it, and I'm not going to. Fuck these guys.
Oh,
I am telling you right now, these are not Republicans.
No, and Matt and I have covered this in the past. That Nazi flag they're flying, that's left wing. That's not right wing.
These aren't Trump fans, by the way. These people right here. First of all, they made one big mistake. Can anybody tell me what that was?
They wearing masks?
Florida. No, Matt just highlighted the Florida vessel.
Yeah.
So I looked this up. When you have a maritime vessel, it doesn't matter how small, anything other than a rowboat, you're going to be able to find that, just like a driver's license. So it didn't take me much to find out who these people are. Also to identify where the boat came from and what their political affiliation is. And who also has rented that boat. So they're going to release this in the next 24 hours. Yes, I could dox this person. Yes, I could totally fucking make their life a nightmare. I'm not going to do it because somebody else is already going to do it. What I want to show you is, this is fake because they've got a Trump flag and a Nazi flag. First of all, there is a code by most Nazis. They're never going to put any other flag above the Nazi flag. Just to let you know. Second, there is no fucking way that anyone who is a Trump supporter supports Nazi beliefs because it's antithetical to the conservative movement.
Exactly.
I also want to show you this. There is $14.88. My Pillow. Does anyone want to go ahead and tell me what 1488 represents in white supremacy?
No idea.
I don't know.
I learned this recently.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
remember.
go.
I just learned this. Did you talk about it on the show? Like
I
both
did. I did.
14 is one number and 88 is a separate number. They mean.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I forget what it means, but yeah, I don't.
So well, let's count. Let's count. Let's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So 88 would be 2 H's. Does anybody want to tell me? And what would HH be in Nazi speak?
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler. And how many words in supremacist? How many letters?
I guess 14.
14. I think it's supremacist. SUP. Hold on a second. It's either white supremacy. I'm tired, and I'm not going to sit here and count these things. Let me just put it in and count it physically.
If it's that much of a well-known code, then why does this guy have to throw up a sign with like these backwards riddles?
Yeah,
It makes no
it's
sense.
it's white supremacy is 14 letters. That's what 1488 represents. It's just like the OK symbol, which stands for the W in power, white power. It's all bullshit. These people they're probably. Can I make a comment? You may not like. I don't want to get sued. But I have shown a lot of videos here, and I've talked about the tiki torches that were actually staged in front of Youngkin's bus here, the Virginia governor, by the Lincoln Project. I've shown you videos. I will tell you this is a very well-known liberal group that are creating this, and they will be exposed. And if they don't get exposed in the next 72 hours, I'm going to fucking expose them. Okay? It's bullshit. It is what it is.
Interesting. I not only never seen that video, that photo, but I didn't even know what the hell you were talking about. I'm kind of shocked about that whole thing.
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to associate Trump supporters with Nazis. So they're putting it in Florida. Why do you put it in Florida? Because it's the most heavily concentrated Jewish population in America. So they're trying, and they see that the Jewish vote is actually moving towards Trump. He's not going to win it, but it's usually 14%. Well, now it's up to like 26% because of what they've done against Jews in Israel. So they're trying to associate Nazis with Donald Trump. And there are plenty of groups. They did this outside of Disneyland when DeSantis was running for president to discredit him. These people are not Republicans. These people are not, they don't represent us in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Oh my God. This lady.
That's an interesting point, because just because you hate Trump doesn't mean that, or just because you might like Trump doesn't mean that you are automatically like some sort of racist or.
Oh God, I know. And this was going into a large boat parade. It was like a Trump parade. The MAGA people kicked them out. They tried to enter it. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Listen, man, we don't like Antifa because they're fascist. They pretend. You notice how Antifa just disappeared? Wonder where they went. Wonder how they just disappeared.
They'll pop back up after Trump gets back in.
That's it. That's absolutely true. Here is Mika Brzezinski from The Morning Joe. She's just recently demounted her husband, who is a cuck, and she has got some opinions about Donald Trump. We're going to listen to it.
You can be,
now.
But don't just be. Don't offer.
And I'm just like, cry, lady. Fucking cry. Cry, you Karen. 200 people on. Twitter must be crushing, Livy. Where are we at? Oh, no, it's Facebook that's crushing tonight.
70.
100 on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for not throttling us. We must be actually covering things that aren't bothering you. Nice to see. We'll see if this one does it for you. Short-haired Karen decides to melt down and cry.
Sure, offer up all the ideas of what more Harris could be doing in these few remaining days before the election. At the same time, it's actually you, the American voter, who needs to step up. Truly look at the choice before us. Listen to Donald Trump's speeches. Truth over lies, democracy versus fascism, or something like that looks like it. Your interests rather than revenge for Donald Trump's ego. The rule of law versus Donald Trump's lawlessness. Kindness versus cruelty. If you are concerned about those things and are worried Harris could very well lose, well, do something. Get to work. As Barack Obama said in Pittsburgh last night, don't just sit back and hope for the best. Vote and help get out the vote. If we care about this experiment called America, the search for a more perfect union that has the possibility of being ever more perfect every day. Don't despair. Don't be discouraged. I mean, you can be, but don't just be. Don't just criticize. And women, I'm talking to you because this is about getting back our 50 years of rights so our daughters can be safe at the doctor.
Give me a break.
We know better. We know better than to wait for someone else to get this job done. We're women. We always come through for each other, so let's not miss this opportunity to step up.
After you crawl over each other's backs and claw and try to destroy each other. You guys are the most petty freaking, like, listen, the sexes, men don't do this. Women hate each other. I mean, unless they have no threat. If they both have somebody they love and care about and a family, Amy and Olivia get along because they're not petty like that. But most women, they are so fucking jealous of each other and they hate each other. They don't want to be successful. Men don't care. When men are successful, we just go, dude, teach me. Tell me what I need to do to get better. We have other things. We have penis issues and we want to compare penises. Otherwise, we don't care. But for her to sit here and say that abortion, okay, folks, the states, there was never a right to murder a baby. Never. Not once. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in the Declaration. It is nowhere to be found. It's not in the Bill of Rights. It is nowhere to be found. It was a bunch of white guys, 6 white guys who went ahead and assigned it and slapped it onto the 14th Amendment under privacy. Leroy, what is the 14th Amendment? Tell them. You got your books? You should know this. You should know this anyway. Come on.
I want to say it's equal protection of the laws to every citizen, I think.
So what does that have to do with privacy?
Nothing.
So and should it be based on privacy?
Am
to
I
murder
right?
a baby?
First of all?
Extensive protections for enslaved people, 13th, 14th, and 15th. So abolition, extended rights to slaves, and then the right to vote and be represented. So 15 is where it was. But 14 has nothing to do with the citizenship for the former enslaved. But this is what they do. They slap it onto
right to privacy.
And understand there is an equal protection clause in the 14th Amendment as well. You're absolutely right. Equal protection clause is in the 14th Amendment too. So here's all of it combined. Citizenship, equal protection, due process, voting rights, insurrection. It talks about war debts, enforcement, prohibits sex discrimination, held the segregation of blacks and whites, and struck down miscegenation laws. So they're trying to put it under sexual discrimination and privacy. Thank you, Ashley. Did we have another one before that?
Yes, JD.
JD, thank you guys so much.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when did, I thought reporters were supposed to be unbiased. I thought they were supposed to report the news, not tell you who to vote for. When did this happen where our mainstream media has become so biased on their own opinions? It's not opinion media. It's news media. Your opinion is not news.
Right.
So news is facts on what's happening around the country and your state and the world. Your opinion is not news. So keep your opinion to yourself.
Right.
That's when did this happen to where
1980s?
It became okay.
No, it's Barack Obama.
I mean,
I'll explain it. Go ahead.
I mean, didn't Sean Hannity, we know he had no love for Barack Obama and he's a complete Trump supporter. And he came out and he said some things about Trump and like almost hinted at vote for Trump, blah, 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 blah. And he got in trouble for that. And he had to apologize openly for that. Why are the people at CNN and MSNBC and NBC not having to apologize for their complete and total bias and telling you to go out and vote for Harris. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a good point.
And it's they should all be fired.
So in 2013, there was this meme that was going around that Barack Obama made it legal for the media to be propagandists and not be held accountable. And that's not essentially what happened. He did loosen the laws where editorialization was different than news reporting, and it allowed people to come in under the guise of being editorial-based news reporting, not to be taken and held accountable and considered to be under the same propaganda laws. That is where you started seeing news media truly come out and start saying things that were completely off base with no accountability. You also saw Tucker Carlson during the lawsuit for the Dominion servers, where his lawyers fought and said, you can't take him seriously. He's an entertainment. So the news media, you're right, it was the 80s, that when they became more interested in aggrandizing 24-hour nonstop news cycles, knowing that they could sit people in front of it during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and the Gulf War, then followed up by 9/11, realizing that they could mass market fear porn on their stations to make billions upon billions of dollars annually in annualized revenue. They lost their scruples, because reporting the truth, as we know on this show, that has taken forever to get to places like this with 200 some odd people on, is because truth isn't sexy. Truth doesn't sell. And unfortunately, a lot of people are starting to wake up and liking this show because it gives them exactly what they need, which is the answer, not some bullshit lie. That's the problem with news media today, is they're more interested in keeping you entertained and not switching the channel. Obama did not make propaganda legal. That is not the case. That's not true. I will sit here and I just told you what he did. Okay?
Yeah. He almost lost. Was it yesterday that he was about to lose it? That was funny.
Yeah, it was interesting because he went after black people.
Yeah. He was
and started
losing his mind. It was really funny to watch.
Yeah. Now, I want to make sure I read this to you so we can get this fact. He signed the National Defense Authorization Act in 2013. The amendment did not repeal the Smith-Mundt Act, but rather lifted some restrictions on the domestic dissemination of government-funded media. The change essentially eased restrictions for Americans who want to access government-funded media content, allowing media produced by the U.S. Agency for Global Media, such as the Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, to be made available to Americans upon request. That was not possible before the law was changed. Even upon request, if I wanted to get it through the FOIA, for instance, they couldn't do it. The amendment changed that. Under the previous law, the agency's content, including radio broadcasts from Voice of America, were banned for dissemination in the U.S. However, Americans were still able to access much of the content online. This essentially just lifted the de facto ban on foreign media sources and also private media sources, and saying that anything that comes out of a news media is factual based upon the way they distribute the news. So if somebody comes on and says, this is the evening news, or, hi, I'm Brett Baer, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the world news tonight, you're saying that you are a news official and you are under the propaganda laws. The moment that he says, hi, I'm Sean Hannity, he never says the word news. He always used the words, that's my opinion, or that's my take. And it changes the way they can be held accountable. So to say that he just lifted all propaganda laws, it's not true. It's a lie. Okay? Any other questions?
1 second. Matt, I'm going to text something to you here in just a second.
Okay. What happens if they remove Tier 230 protection to social media companies? Well, the reason why is that social media companies are under the same guise, very similar to the media, is that they are hiding behind that they are essentially not content manufacturers or producers, they're distributors. So there are plenty of laws that goes back to like Hustler and Playboy and First Amendment laws that were all done by the ACLU and the NAACP, which actually the ACLU defended Larry Flynt from Hustler, even though they didn't agree with his content. They said that he has a right to produce it. This then goes into the difference between a content publisher, is that if he puts a story in there and has a credible source, he can't be held accountable for that. because he is just simply publishing the information. He's not producing and manufacturing it himself. This goes on to social media companies. So the moment that they start controlling the information that you receive on Facebook and Twitter, are they still a content publisher, or are they manufacturing content if they're regulating what's said? This is the crux. Republicans say that you guys are actually content creators. Democrats say they're just publishers. And under this protection, they can continue this moderation and the censorship that they do because they say that they're publishers, and they have to ensure that certain laws are followed, and they have to curtail, and they put it under their terms and conditions and hide behind that, versus just saying that they truly are manicuring the content that's on their station, which then makes them a content manufacturer. Does that make sense? Good. What's up, dude? Leroy, you said you found something.
Yeah, I just texted you a link to a video, and if you shoot to roughly time index 6 minutes 15 seconds, there's an interesting take from Hillary Clinton on social media and their responsibilities and what she thinks the government.
Where did you send it?
Text.
I sent it to our text.
Oh, the dumb chat?
Yes.
I don't have it.
Oh, shit. Oh, hold on.
I have it.
I got it.
It's,
I saw it.
Someone just send it back. I'm not getting updates.
Matt Spear.
Weird. I'm not getting updates. Let me quit and reopen.
I just sent it to your personal.
Oh, okay. That I think I received. It's opening. Maybe. Liv, can you just carbon copy and email it to me, please?
Yes.
Anyway, it's an interesting take, and that video, that interview is less than like 2 weeks old. So this isn't something where this is pulled from 4 years ago, 8 years ago under Obama. No, this was 2 weeks ago. And if you don't think that Hillary Clinton still has her, finger on the pulse of the Democratic Party,
yeah, I showed this. This is okay for them to watch it again because I show most shit. It's kind of, what's the number? What minute mark?
Liberty.
6 minutes 15 seconds.
So I have one note, as they say in Hollywood, or I keep watching on a loop. I think it's at Newport.
Point out, Michael, in the book I write about how
terrorism that is so missing today. You cite Jonathan kids
to addressing these threats to our children. So you're absolutely right. This should be at the top of every legislative political agenda. There should be a lot of things done. We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook.
Yeah, because Jack Dorsey's no longer the CEO of Twitter. That's what you fucking bitch.
Let her keep
Twitter
going.
X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects. It's real harm. It's, child porn and threats of violence, things that are terribly dangerous. So I couldn't agree with you more. We need to remove the immunity from liability, and we need to have guardrails. We need regulation. We've conducted this big experiment on ourselves and particularly our kids, and I think the evidence is in.
All right. Yeah, I can only listen to her like 1 minute a year.
Oh, I know. I know.
Otherwise, I want to throw up. But listen, that's exactly what we're talking about. Democrats, listen, the contradiction.
Wants to tell you what the guardrails are on your speech.
Yeah, Republicans have been calling for this for a long time. They want censorship to not be an issue. They want free speech. This is why you should go to wimkin.com. It's right there, right underneath Amy's boobs. Wimkin.com, www.wimkin.com. You can go there and sign up. It's Free Speech Network. They are good friends of the show. Head on over to Wimkin. Please do me a favor. Sign up. Make sure you pick a profile pic. Put in your email. Put in your name. Everything. It is a free speech network. All the dummies are over there. Get over there. How's Wimkin tonight? Are we doing okay? Are they just kind of meh tonight?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's doing okay.
All right, JD Vance. We got to get to it. we're doing fine. We're actually doing really good on time. JD Vance just absolutely crushed ABC. Man, I
saw this.
am
Yeah, it was
so
great.
Go after his political opponents. You know who
fucking
did
sick
go after her politically?
of the media. But you know what I love? Let me tell you something. Allergies. The GOP is getting its swagger. I don't know what's going on, folks, but like Democrats had this kind of chip on their shoulder, and they've had it on there for 4 years. They're backpedaling. Like Kamala doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what to do. She's like, I'm going to go do a swing state blitz. Well, that's fine. You can do a swing state blitz, but now Trump's going into California and New York. They're worried. But the media, GOP is slapping back for the first time. They're not taking their shit anymore. Pete Buttigieg came on Fox, and I was so disappointed because they don't go after and attack. But JD Vance has no problem. Listen to this. This is fantastic.
Would Donald Trump go after his political opponents? Would Donald Trump go after his political opponents? He suggested that in the past.
Martha, he was president for 4 years, and he didn't go after his political opponents. You know who did go after her political opponents? Kamala Harris, who has tried to arrest everything from pro-life activists to her political opponents.
He said those people who cheated will be prosecuted
as a weapon against people. Well, he said that people who violated our election laws will be prosecuted. I think that's the administration of law. He didn't say people are going to go to jail because they disagree with me. That has, in fact, been the administration and the policy of Kamala Harris, Martha.
Would Donald Trump go after his political opponents? Would Donald Trump go after his political?
You guys, we're not going after viewers for their opinions. Okay? We're not going after our viewers for opinions. If somebody wants to say and make a complete factual statement that is absolutely 100% true, probably the truest thing that's ever been said on this show in the 4 years, that Matthew Spear is handsome, muscular, and amazing, they have a right to say it. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Olivia's a big girl. She knows what side her bread is buttered on.
My pseudonym, by the way.
She had something nice to say about all of us. Elizabeth is just so sweet. So
she is a doll. She's a friend of the show. Yeah. She doesn't need to be chastised. She has a right to say. Olivia's secure. Olivia, are you okay with that?
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, so let's everyone leave everyone alone in chat. They can contribute any way they want. Let's just stop, okay? Everyone is at a different place in their lives. Leave them alone. We already talked about this at the beginning of the show. People have a right to say what they want to say. Now, if it continues and it is spammy and Elizabeth just likes to tell people how she feels, and that is fine. She's also very honest and very true. Probably the truest words we've ever heard in 4 years on this show. Look at Leroy.
Did that in the past.
She complimented Leroy first.
I didn't see that. I didn't see anything about Leroy.
President for 4 years, and he didn't go after his political opponents. You know who did go?
Anyway, I think it's great JD Vance does this. Listen, do you see JD Vance in 2028? Do you guys see him running on the ticket, or I guess it really depends on what happens.
Yeah.
In this election, right?
Yeah, it's up in the air right now. It really depends on what happens in this election, and if Trump does get elected, how he does as vice president. Because if he drops the ball like Harris did, and is pretty much nowhere to be seen, and he only has one responsibility and does absolutely nothing with that responsibility, then no, I don't see him on the ballot. But if he goes in and rocks it, then yeah, I do. But there's too much up in the air to even speculate about 2028 because we're still in 2024.
Right.
But I can tell you, I had no idea who JD Vance was a month ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I see him for 2028. I definitely, Amy and I love Youngkin. Olivia loves Youngkin. But what do you think, guys? Leroy, Amy, what are your thoughts?
I think they should make a new rule, and it should be DeSantis, Youngkin, and Vance.
Yeah. What did that mean? Listen, I just want a primary. Awesome. Yeah. I want a primary where Republicans don't tear each other apart and destroy each other. I want a primary where Republicans get together and decide on a party platform that they all can agree on and then go run on it. And I am so sick and tired of seeing these primaries where it's just they bloodlet each other. Leroy, what do you think?
Well, I'm a little bit biased, and it's because Vance, so for everyone who has not seen the movie Hillbilly Elegy. You need to watch that movie. It was really, really well done. Even if you don't like J.D. Vance, you kind of have to admire the story and his background, right? And so I became kind of immediately aware of him because of that movie. The movie was portrayed to have happened 2 exits south of me from where I'm at right now, which is Middletown, Ohio. That's where he grew up. So when we saw this movie and I started connecting those dots, I immediately, became aware of the guy. That being said, would I like to see him in 2028? Yes, absolutely. I think J.D. Vance is in a very different spot than Walz, right? Walz has been in politics for a pretty long time. He was already the governor? No, mayor, right? So he already had some pretty high level, spots to fill. J.D. Vance is still pretty young. And as he is just coming into politics, he's had 1 run as a senator. Now he's immediately going to become the vice president if they win. That's huge. So do I see him advancing any further by 2028?
Good point.
I hope so.
It's a good point. It really is a good point. And experience matters. I think every single president should have to be a governor, considering they lead the governors. I've said it 100 times on this show, is that the president is not the president of the people. He's the president of the states. Your governor is your president of your state. That's the way this works.
Yeah.
And if we could just get back to that, we would realize that you're really voting for the person who wants to lead the governors, because that's his job. That's his responsibility, how to secure our border, how to make sure the states are following what is best for the country, to ensure that the federal regulations are not overstepping on states' rights. He is the voice piece between the constituents of this country and the governors of the states. That Absolutely. Is the president's job, period. Does anyone want to tell me what the great replacement theory is, besides Leroy?
One quick question.
12.
Leroy, no, I already know the answer to that one.
Netflix.
Leroy, where can you see the movie? People are
Netflix. It's available on Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix. Okay, they're fine. Great replacement theory. Anybody want to tell me what it is? Does anyone know?
It's what we were talking about the other day with the kids, right?
I don't know. You tell me. What is it?
No, that's the switch. Never mind. No, I don't know.
That was the great party switch. That was a great
Okay, never mind.
So nope. Amy, the replacement theory.
Yeah.
What that is?
I remember learning about this, but I actually cannot recall right now at all. My brain is not working.
Leroy, do you want to take a shot, or do you?
No, I'm drawing a blank on it.
So there is first of all, you guys need to understand this. This is considered to be an alt-right. So whenever the left say it's an alt-right thing, it usually means it's true, because they want to discredit it. Okay. When we talk about the great replacement theory or replacement theory, it is in line with things like Great Society or Manifest Destiny. It's usually a vision that is a long-term generational type process. And what it's stating is, because the decline of reproduction in the United States has been literally declining for the last 25, 30 years. And we know why. Because we promote eugenics in the inner city. We promote abortion. We promote deviant lifestyles as far as alternate lifestyles to sexuality. We decree marriage. We allow men to marry men and women to marry women. And although that's fine and they have that right, there is a stunning number that 31% of the youngest generation identifies as gay, lesbian, or something within the LGBTQ community. Now, most of this is naivety. Most of this is experimentation. We understand these things, and most of us went through it in some way or another, whether we denied it or embraced it. This is a very open thing, which was a very closeted thing when we were younger. And ultimately, we're seeing an increase in homosexuality and lesbian relationships. These all have an impact. Now, if you just follow me, if let's just say 1 out of 3 couples in the United States decide they're not going to get married, if 1 out of 3 couples decide they're not going to go ahead and have children, if the divorce rate is higher than it's ever been, you're going to stop producing kids. But now we also have to look at the things that we eat. Men, they are saying that 7 out of 10 men suffer from higher estrogen and low testosterone. lower testosterone than the recommended levels for men. This stops sexual relationships between a man and a woman. This essentially emasculates man from a physicality level. And these are our basic processes. Women are to carry a child and conceive, and men are to plant the seed. That's it. That's at our most basic level, right? Forget all the other nuance. Now, the great replacement theory is that Democrats, because of choosing, and liberals choosing these deviant lifestyles and nefarious type of beliefs, whether it becomes what they're doing in the inner city or abortion or not believing in typical marriage, have put us on a path of depopulation in the United States that is ultimately going to harm our country. And in order to go ahead and supplement this, not change their policies and lose their constituency, but replace it with people of like-minded by allowing illegals to come in, allowing felons to vote, allowing kids who are underage by lowering the voting age, they will increase their overall influence and replace the population with people who are more affluent and acceptable to their practices. This is where we start seeing diversity, equity, inclusion, where white people are replaced. We don't see black people being replaced or Hispanic. We see white people. So this is a reversed initiative of what they call reverse racism. It's just racism to eliminate white people from society and then put them in the minority class so they can move forward with the Great Replacement. This is considered to be an alt-right belief. I am not alt-right. I am a conservative, and I fucking believe this 120% with every ounce of my being because I've experienced it at 2 different jobs. Here is Bill Clinton openly admitting that that's what they're doing. Listen to this shit. This is going to bother you.
Platter a new direction to manage an immigration crisis in a tough time where there's all this upheaval all over the world, where there are border problems all over the world, where millions of people are trying to escape the misery they're in. And other people are saying, well, I want to do what I can and take what I can, but maybe there's a limit to how much we can do. In other words, I don't think Americans are anti-immigration, they're anti-chaos, right? They don't want us to do more than we can, but they recognize, at least most people do, we got the lowest birth rate we've had in well over 100 years. We're not at replacement level, which means we got to have somebody come here if we want to keep growing the economy. Unless one of you is one of these artificial intelligence geniuses and figured out how we can all grow with no work, which I'm not sure would be good for us. I think,
when you allow 4 million people to cross your border, when you allow unfettered access and 21 million illegal immigrants and refuse ICE and DHS from doing their job and will not deport, we are at a replacement level. Folks, I hate to tell you, but that's 8% of our fucking population that they have allowed in 4 years. That is replacement level. And Bill Clinton, who is actually a fairly decent president, minus his sexual deviation, I've never dipped a cigar that way, but you never know. I'm willing to learn. I will tell you that he was pro-border. So was Hillary Clinton. All of them were. And Clinton 100% does not believe it. He just openly admitted that replacement level type of events are real. And it's not some alt-right propaganda. I promise you, they're going to sit Bill Clinton yet again because all he does is tell the effing truth when he's out there on the campaign trail since he's left office, and they don't like him. That's why they benched Bill Clinton in 2016 and 20. Who wants to go?
I just want to say, I now I remember this. I actually learned about this. It might have been, I don't know if it was college or like late years of high school. I do remember talking about this back then. So that was like 20 plus years ago, however long, but that was a long time ago. I remember learning about this in school and talking about school and college professors. They just did this study. Did you guys see the bar graph with the political affiliation of college professors at the top? That was like
it's 99%. Yeah.
So it's like that. Not only are we doing this, but we're also, again, indoctrinating our children at every level, elementary through college, with left-leaning idealistic, ideologies, all the craziness that most of us are not okay with. So
Yeah.
there's a lot going on.
I don't have a lot of time on this. I think we've explained it quite well. Leroy, give us a 30-second before I jump, because I've got about four more videos that I have to play.
No worries. Back in 1995, Bill Clinton said that's why our administration has aggressively moved to secure our borders, hiring more by hiring record numbers of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, and by cracking down on illegal hiring by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. That was his State of the Union address in 1995. Boy, how he hasn't come full circle.
Well, I'll tell you though, but Bill Clinton, man, I'll take Bill. If someone gave me a choice right now between Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, I would not only just willingly put Bill Clinton back in office, because I told you what he did to the military. I served under him. Leroy served under him. He screwed us over. But overall, every president does something stupid. He really hamstrung us with the military. I get that. But other than that, he was a fairly decent president. The Republican Party is closer to who they've always been today more than ever, but the liberals are completely off fucking base. Like, Republicans are finally being conservative. They're like, they're not. I understand they're still the uniparty. I understand they don't vote accordingly, but what they're saying and what they're running on is very different than what liberals are. They are so progressive. I gotta bounce. I can't keep. It's great that we're covering so many things, but Olivia wanted to talk about something. We were watching today, and Kamala Harris had some comments about, Joe Biden and how Donald Trump, his age and his health records. Here's a video, and I know Olivia had a comment on it, so we'll let her go, and we'll go from there.
The comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous.
Now, this is about Her's report that Joe Biden is a nice old man who has kind of lost his faculties. She's replying to this. The press are finally hitting her. In the last 3 weeks, you're going to hear this everywhere. Why did you support Joe Biden? Because here's the truth, folks. Joe Biden's numbers were better than hers. She's actually doing poorly compared to Joe Biden, and Joe isn't having it. Joe wore the MAGA hat. Joe contradicted her with DeSantis. Joe undercut her with traveling and speaking for her on several different events. Joe didn't leave the country during the hurricane. Let her went ahead and campaign in swing states as he handled the hurricane issue, which he should have handed it to her. I think Joe Biden's done. And I think Joe Biden is completely saying, fuck you, I could have beat him. You guys bailed on me way too early. I was surprised they dropped Biden. Those numbers were totally in line. I told you this would come down to about 1 to 2% when we got to October. Well, guess what? It's exactly happened. This is where we're at. We're inside the margin of error. This always happens. This is not good for Harris. This is very good for Trump. And here's her response.
Inaccurate and inappropriate. October 7th, Israel experienced a horrific attack, and I will tell you, we got the calls, the president and myself, in the hours after that occurred. It was an intense moment for the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, and I was in almost every meeting with the president in the hours and days that followed. Countless hours with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the heads of our intelligence community, and the president was in front of and on top of it all.
Tom, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what Clinton did. I've nailed him to the cross on this many times.
Asking questions and requiring that America's military and intelligence community and diplomatic community would figure out and know how many people were dead. How many are Americans? How many hostages? Is the situation stable? He was in front of it all, coordinating
the voice there.
Oh, wait.
And directing
this contradicts
leaders
everything
who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe. For days.
Olivia, so she goes on and literally stumps for Joe Biden why he is the great white hope, while he was an amazing president under her. So what's the question? I mean, what does every single person have to ask right now when she's up there saying how smart and intelligent and brave Joe Biden is? What's the question?
So why isn't he running
Why
for
did
president?
he drop out?
Why did he drop out if he's the great white hope? Why did you guys force him out? And why is he not running?
And why should we vote for you? Because you lied for us. So what she's saying is she's a catch-22. If she sits there and defends Biden,
absolutely,
she looks like an asshole. And if she attacks Biden, she looks like an asshole. So this is the whole thing. So what has she been doing? We saw it on TV today. Walk everybody through what she said.
She's been calling Donald Trump out for not showing his health records and showing why he won't show doctor records of what his cholesterol levels are and shit like that. We asked for Biden's doctor visits and records to show his cognitive tests and to show where he was, because you could clearly see a decline in his health and his mental faculties and everything else. And they all shot us down and were like, oh no, we don't need to see that. You don't need to see it. He's been perfect.
You don't need
He's
to see his
amazing.
identification.
Exactly. You don't need to see it. And now they're calling out for Donald Trump's, and the hypocrisy of it all is just, we need to see Donald Trump's because he's not fit for office because he's too old. But yet Biden was older than him. And oh no, he's in perfect health when you can clearly see he's not. And it's just, why can't people just wake up and see it? It's a double standard. And I just don't get why people can't see it.
Dealing with
it just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's a little
Right in front of you in black and white.
It's right in front. Listen, I've got a lot to show. Amy, did you have a quick one for us? And then I got to go to another video.
No, I'll make one short comment, not related, but sort of. I just was wondering while I was watching that if KAMALA practices in her mirror at home about her hand movements, because they're all so dramatic and just,
Her resting
just
bitch
curious.
face is bad.
Oh, it's so good.
Holy her voice cracks me up.
Yeah. Thank you, Glenn, for subscribing. We appreciate that. I've got 2 videos. We are going to go till about 2 more minutes. We're not going to, I can't show the one. I'll show this tomorrow. There was a conversation on Bill Maher that was fantastic. And ex-CIA field agent just literally undressed.
Demente?
And no. I can't remember his name. But let's make sure I covered everything. Voters are mad, the silent majority, Rocketman, and more. And Walz is a clown. Yep, we can do Walz. Okay, so just want to make sure I cover everything because people get mad at me and say they're going to provide feedback and call my wife and I on the phone number and tell us, these longtime viewers who loved us, that they were going to provide some feedback and never called. So I just figured I don't need your call. I'll just go ahead and make sure I cover every topic for you because, that's what we do here. Tim Walz can't load a shotgun. Holy shit. This is embarrassing.
Saw this.
it never fits. It never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. It's not quite right. How do you give it back?
Good way to bust your balls
Governor,
off.
what kind of gun is it? This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff. So when you get old, it doesn't hurt your shoulder as much. And it never.
If
and
you're
you were in the military for a while?
can I just say this? If you're trap shooting and your shotgun is hurting your shoulder, you're a pussy. Okay, you're a fucking pussy. I'm sorry. I don't know. We put through what, like 170 clays.
You did.
I know.
Not me.
I know, but seriously, give me a break. The kick on a shotgun. What are you backloading, dude? Seriously, it's bird shot. Give me a break. You're a putz.
Yeah.
This
Target loads don't have anything in them, really.
No, it's nothing. I mean, you can shoot them all day for a reason. So there's a video that I put up of duck hunt. You can go watch it on the page. This lady, there's some language here, but she's black, so she can say any of this. It's okay. As long as you're black, you can say the N word and drop F-bombs. Man,
Is this a Dear White Women video? I love those.
She's so good. This woman, I freaking love her. It's 2 minutes. We're going to end on this, and then we'll wrap it up and say goodnight. We want to thank everybody, folks. Last thing, if you liked our show tonight, you can go to thedumshow.com/donate. We are 100% funded by you. I want to thank everybody for the 11th night in a row of hitting our goal. We just started this nightly goal, and you guys have just exceeded our expectations. Our lives are changing because of this. We're able to get caught up
we're able to go ahead and expand on the show. These are the things that help out. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. If you would like to donate to the show and just say thanks for the show tonight, go to thedumshow.com/donate. You can do that by Venmo or PayPal. We would greatly appreciate it. Here is this video. Enjoy. I know there's a little bit of language, but who cares? This is directly focused to Barack Obama after he guilted black men to vote for Kamala because she's black and they're not doing their jobs.
This message is for Barack. Ain't never did a fuck ass thing for niggas in the 8 years he was in the White House ever. Obama. Whoa. Keep black men's name out your motherfucking mouth. We not about to do that. That's what we not about to do. And I'm a black woman that's not playing with your motherfucking ass, Mr. Biracial. Okay? You ain't did a fuck ass thing for us in the 8 years that you was in the White House. And you think you gonna pop up during an election year and try to scold black men for not wanting to vote for your candidate? Have you lost your fucking mind? I need you to go back into whatever cave and hole you fucking came out of and stay there. You're not about to come out and try to disrespect black men. We're not about to fucking do that. And this is a black ass woman telling you that. It's not happening. I'm not going for it. If you thought that I was going to hop on a bandwagon and be like, yeah, tell them, fuck no. Be quiet. Be quiet. There are millions of people in this country that are not voting for Kamala, and it's her motherfucking fault.
Yep.
Every time she opens her mouth, bullshit flies out. Teleprompter, no teleprompter. It's all bullshit. We know she was raised in a middle-class family. We don't give a fuck. The last 4 years have been hell for us. And you sitting over there with your millions of dollars and you want to reemerge, come out of hiding when they need you, and then you're going to point your motherfucking finger at black men? It's not motherfucking happening. What Iyanla said, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Take your ass back to the hole you crawled out of with that big ass wife you got and leave us the fuck alone. Period. We shouldn't have voted for your motherfucking ass during the 8 years that you was there. A lot of my people was blinded by the fact that you came out as a dark-skinned man. And they took that and they ran with it. But people are waking the fuck up, and we don't care about color right now. Because people are hungry, and the grocery stores is high as hell. And we have inflation. And we have motherfuckers coming into this country getting more money than the people who have been affected by hurricanes. So we don't give a fuck about what you gotta say. All right? Go back to where you came from and keep black men's name out of your motherfucking mouth. Thank you.
Oh, she is going to my spank bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Her name is Pocus Speaks, and it's POCAS. PEAKSS. Go follow her. I got to say, listen, that's when you cuss, right? There is nothing wrong with delivering a hardcore message. I'm going to start with Amy, go to Leroy, go to Olivia, and then I will end it. Go ahead.
I love her. I love her, and I've never heard of her before today, but I'm going to have to go follow her. She's wonderful. Even though I don't appreciate a lot of language and a lot of people don't, but she's speaking to a specific audience who probably will receive that in the way that it's intended. And so I'm all for her delivering this message the way she did. I think she did a beautiful job, and she's really beautiful. So like she could have a major platform. Honestly, like, I don't know if maybe she does. I'm out of the loop. She might be really famous and I just don't know. I don't know anybody, but she's awesome. I freaking love her. She's great.
Yeah. I just put it in there at Pocus Speaks. You can go ahead and get it. Actually, it's one S. It's, gosh darn it. It's at Paca. There it is. That's what it's at Pocus Speaks. Go ahead, Leroy.
I loved her. I thought that was amazing. I think that there's something to be said about when you have a specific group of people that you are trying to speak to and you don't edit yourself, you just speak per normal in your everyday tone. I don't care about the cuss words. I loved it. That's my second language. I could do that kind of thing all day long and it would be fluent for me. When I come on here and have to use big words, that's the stretch. I loved her, and I really love the idea that she is independent enough. She is critical in her thinking enough to go, no, wait, something is wrong with big government right now. And they're trying to feed us they're trying to feed us a line of shit, and she recognized it and then called it out. I loved it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Livy.
Is she on Twitter or TikTok?
I don't know. Just do a search.
Put
it in Google.
Everything.
Just put it in Google. That's all you gotta do.
She's awesome. I'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah.
I would too.
She was great.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean that we showed the kids yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, of
and
course
I thought
we
it was
did.
great.
I mean, because it's not about the language. Going out on this. Enjoy.
Who needs personality when you can switch who you are at the push of a button?
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, innit?
Why does she talk so weird? Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
Man, this doll sucks.
Accent Switch Kamala can emulate any accent you like, as long as it grants her credibility.
Bonjour, tu aimes les croissants?
Merde américaine.
Guten Tag, Sie lieben ein Bratwurst? Ufta, 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 da.
Luke, I am your mother.
But wait, there's more. All new Accent Switch Kamala comes with 2 bags of campaign money, a blind eye for illegal immigration, and her own multi-laugh 3000 generator. Laugh in every way possible. Let Accent Switch Kamala turn your life into a complete circus.
When you give me more money, like Uncle Joey did.
Don't you wear a little mad? The money's coming.
I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me, honey.
I meant to say the money is coming. I love ice cream, Kamala map.
It's Accent Switch Kamala and brand new Tampon Tim.
You know, my grandma always used to say,
Kamala Janu, please wash your hands so we can eat our chicken masala.
God, I love the internet. I mean, seriously, if that's the only reason that we have the internet. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Did a fuck ass thing
hey, easy.
for niggas. And
all right, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Olivia will
not be on tomorrow.
Not be on tomorrow. So I will have a solo show. I will be here. Good to have you here at 7 o'clock. Ethan, say hi quick.
Hello.
Okay, that's it. So 7 o'clock, we'll be here. News tomorrow. We'll have a recorded show tomorrow. Today was Columbus Day. We took it off, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for donating.
Are we showing the Harris interview on Brett Baer on Wednesday? It starts at 6.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll either show the recorded, but either way, we'll be there. Thanks for everybody for watching the show. We appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow. Leroy, Amy, thank you for being here. You guys, great show tonight. I loved it, and thanks so much.
Yeah, that was
fun.
All right, everybody. Good night. See ya. Bye. Peace.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.